So then the clear intention tends to be a very important element that we have to get down. And the more coherent the brain, the more clear the signal for that intention. So with intention and attention, we could actually make thought more real than anything else. Now, what is that? You're saying, what would it be like to be wealthy? What would it be like to be abundant? What would it be like to have all my needs met? What would it be like to have more than I need? What would I do if I had everything I ever wanted? The answer always is the same. You start giving stuff away. Because if an abundant person is truly abundant, why would they hold on? They would say, I'm not in lack. There's more for everybody, okay? Turns out, though, that the signal sent out isn't enough. You have to draw the experience back to you. And so
you're sending the signal out to,
it's coherent brain,
financial freedom,
whatever
abundance, all these different things.
Right. Whatever that is for you.
You're putting that out there with your signal, with the intention and the attention.
Right.
And then how do you draw it to you?
So
in the physical world,
in the physical world, you got to go get it. You got to do something. This is the plane of demonstration. You got to go get it, and when you're in lack until it occurs, right?
But I'm hearing you say there's a way to not chase but attract.
All right. So if you're creating from the field instead of from matter, right? There's a very strong possibility that you'll shorten the distance between the thought of what you want and the experience of having it. And when there's a vibrational match between your energy and that future that you want to experience, now if you're creating from the field, you actually don't go anywhere to get it. You actually draw it to you. So here comes the synchronicities, the serendipities, the coincidences, the opportunities, and they come out of nowhere. And you say, I don't understand. I didn't do anything. Well, you changed your energy. And so then the other element is a coherent heart, right? And the heart has a magnetic signature. And the magnetic signature is what draws reality to us, right? So you combine that clear intention with a coherent brain. Now here's the key. This takes practice.
Yes.
Because the person who's living in lack is usually unworthy, is usually insecure, is usually in their past, they're usually frustrated, they're usually impatient, they're usually resentful, because nothing's changing out there because it's taking too long. Everything takes a lot of time when you do matter to matter, right? So then if you teach them, okay, we know all about that. We know the story behind that. We know what your parents told you about money, all that other. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But now let's do something that would be really cool. Let's write down the feelings of how you would feel if that future happened, and you're going to have to feel that feeling before it occurs. So now, okay, what does an abundant person feel? Pretty much free, a lot of freedom, in love with life, grateful to be alive, abundant. Okay, now let's practice feeling those. Turns out when you're feeling those other emotions like resentment and impatience and frustration, you're stepping on the gas pedal, you're turning on the sympathetic nervous system, and you're stepping on the brake. At the same time, which is you're angry, you're frustrated, but the fight or flight nervous system says run, fight, or hide, and you're sitting in a Zoom meeting and your neck is pulsating is because the heart is beating against the closed system, right? You're not using it in an adaptive way. So the heart starts firing out of order. It starts firing incoherently, and incoherent waves cancel each other out. It's called destructive interference, and then we stop trusting our future. Energy leaves the heart.
Do you understand how much more valuable you are than money? And how much more, remember, Buddhist monks, there's millionaire achievers that go to Buddhist monks all the time. The reverse never happens. There's no Buddhist monks going, how do I get the Lamborghini?
I need to make millions.
Yeah. Why is that? Because the highest thing we have, the number one asset we have is our connection to ourselves. And then most of us think it's money. So we make that the highest vibration, but it's not. It's
inner peace.
It's inner peace. It's this moment, and you have that available. And the best things in life are free is a very cliche sentence, but it's true. And that's true, but also we only pay attention to what we invest in financially. So we overlook meditating here, but if we could pay to meditate, we'd all of a sudden do it. So we have to understand that what is free for real will bring in everything else that you want.
Yeah.
I have a rule too with money that you might think is cool. This is a thing that I want to offer people. If you're trying to figure out how to create a space for money, I offer people to think about how they think about money. Like, think about how unconsciously you think about it. Like, you're never enough, you're the root of all evil, whatever. Now picture that you're money on a date with you. And if you're on a date with a person who says you're never enough, you're the root of all evil, you'd never want to be there, right? Well, money doesn't want to be in the vibration of someone that's judging it.
Yeah. You reject that person, so you're rejecting money.
Right.
When you think that,
I'm going to, how else do we say, I'm going to use you to get someone to like me. This is how money is seen. So how could money show up if that's how you see it? Because you wouldn't stay with someone on a date that said you're never enough. You're the root of all evil?
Right.
It's like, okay. So how would you like to be seen on a date? You'd like to be seen as, I love you no matter what. No matter if you're small or big. And if you can look at your debt or have $1 in the bank and go, I love you. Now you're creating a vibrational space for it to show up. Because you're safe, because your focus isn't on money and how it needs to change. You're much better off because you're on how you're going to change.
Wow.
And when you start changing like we just did and looking at these things and not needing to overcome as much as loving it, now you're focused on the thing that actually creates the money. Remember, every dollar you've ever made came from you. So don't get excited about money, get excited about you. Right?
Zing.
Like, if I went on a hike with you, we get lost in the woods, I round a corner, I'm not with you, and we find a waterfall. I find it, you don't see it. I fill a cup up with water. And I come back and I say to you, dude, a cup of water. What am I not showing you?
Yeah.
I'm showing you the small thing.
Yeah, not the waterfall.
Not where it came from.
The source.
The source of the water is the much more important thing. So none of us look at the source of where our money came from. We look at the money. So you're sitting here dwelling, not you, but people that we're dwelling on the cup of water.
Yeah. Not us being the source of creating more.
Every dollar you've ever made came from you. Get excited about you. Start the focus on what you are, not what money will give you.
And your energy is going to attract or repel more wealth. A lot of, a mentor of mine said, I was at a salsa club learning how to salsa dance, terrified out of my mind, and I saw a guy who was amazing, who was a public speaker. He actually got me into public speaking. And he said, the world makes room for passionate people. I think money is attracted to passionate people as well, because people are passionate about life. They bring an energy, they bring a richness, a fullness, a richness, and they attract riches.
Yeah.
Whether it be through the community or the art they're creating or the business they're creating.
Yes.
And you're going to start to attract.
Especially in this time, because I know there's people watching this go, well, what do you say about all the greedy billionaires and blah, blah, blah? And what I say is that's the old consciousness.
Yeah.
That there, in fact, we see through it and it's starting to crumble. So the old way of doing things selfish was a conscious shift, because I believe in like the 50s, everyone was just like a factory worker working for, and then it was like this breakaway where an entrepreneurial boom happened. So taking your focus off of the old story and moving into what you are and learning how your thinking changes things was the highest consciousness we understood at the time. So at that time, that created this old consciousness of your focus, changes it. So you think positive, whatever. And that created it, and then we keep going and take a good thing too far, and then all of a sudden it's this billionaire thing. You can feel the most controlling mindsets crumbling. You can feel the suicides from the people that have made lots of money but see that it's not the answer. You can feel the people that are controlling other people. All the control, as the control fell in you during this interview, as you said goodbye to the old story and kind of loved it, all control in the world is starting to fall. And the old structures aren't working. And what will work in the new century and the new future is the birth of this consciousness. This consciousness, following your heart. You will not be able to make money just from massive achievement. It won't work. I'm telling you, it's going to be we see through it. The consciousness sees through it. It's too small. When there's going to be a major influx of Martin Luther King's, Mr. Rogers, Oprah's, Wayne Dyer's, it's coming. Because we're so repressed that our hearts are going to springboard like the Renaissance, and there's going to be, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. You mentioned this a couple of times, and it reminded me of another mentor of mine, Chris Hawker. I was working as an intern for him for about 6 months when I was on my sister's couch, broke, no money. My dad had just gotten into a car accident that left him in a coma for 3 months. He was kind of my safety net. He was my, financial stability, where he would support me financially on things. And he always said, when you're done like living your dream and chasing your football career, whatever it is, you can always come work for me.
Wow.
He had an insurance company, life insurance. And I did the whole like insurance internship and did the testing, and I almost failed 3 times on like getting my, whatever it is, like the series something, whatever, the life insurance test that I had to pass so I could sell life insurance. I should have stopped after I failed the first time because I just knew it wasn't for me, but I did it so I could have this backup plan.
Wow. And
so when my dad got in his accident, he had to sell his company to his partner because he was no longer able to work anymore. And I didn't have the financial stability like I had before. So I was sleeping on my sister's couch for 1.5 years, and I was working as an intern for about 6 months with someone that I was learning a lot from. And I remember at one point being like, man, I just really want some money. I feel like I've been working hard for a few years. Like I really could use some money. I'm not paying any rent money at my sister's. I feel like a loser because I can't contribute to her. I can't even get my own apartment. I'm just a loser. I was 24 at the time. I was like, man, I'm just a loser of a guy. And he said something to me that what you said. He said, money comes to you when you're ready for it. And I was like, I feel really ready. I could really use the money right now. And
he goes, I didn't say desperate for it.
Exactly. He didn't say that, but he was like, it's going to come to you when you're ready for it. And when it starts to come, it's going to make sense. And I was like, gosh, I just want it though. I just want it right now. And it's funny because maybe a year later, it started to come. And then it started to really come pretty quickly, like 6 months to a year after that. And I remember reflecting 1.5 years prior, I was like, man, I wasn't ready for this. Like if this would have came 2 years prior, I would have blown it. I would have been scared of it. I wouldn't have been prepared for it. Like I would have been so freaked out by the numbers in my bank account, I would have sabotaged it probably. Yeah. And so I really feel like it comes to you when you are prepared and ready. And sometimes it's not when you want it to be.
And when people say, how do you get prepared and ready?
Yes, that's the key. So how do you
get prepared and ready? For me, meditation gets me to understand that I'm the abundance, not money. And the second you understand that you're the abundance, and I mean, and understand it in your nervous system. I mean, don't just hear that sentence while you're still dying for it in your body. Like really be in the alignment of understanding that I'm the abundance. Wayne Dyer said beautifully, there's a thing that everyone thought, you attract what you want. And Wayne Dyer said, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are, what you're in vibration of. So if you want abundance, you need to get to a place where you understand your abundance. And everything comes into your life the second you finally don't want it. It's not don't want it like avoiding, like you don't need it.
You're not desperate, yeah.
The second you stop looking for it, you don't even remember you wanted it. That's because you have to access the fulfillment of the connection to yourself first. And then weirdly, it's going to create, first of all, so many creative things, but you're going to just start, first of all, you're so aware that you see things differently. Like think of just that when someone's in their head, they're walking down the street on their phone worrying, you could pass a $100 bill and not even see it, right? But when you're not in your head, you suddenly start to see all these dots connecting and everything meaning something different. And you see every moment as meaningful. Like last night I was waiting to go into a restaurant. One guy recognized me and said hi, and we created a friendship because he's also a musician. That's cool. And then this 4-year-old girl comes in and just sees me and starts dancing in front of me and showing me her toys. And I just had, that moment was so much cooler than if I was looking through wondering, what is going on in politics. And that was fulfilling, that moment. And because that's fulfilling, and then on my way to the table, each step is fulfilling. Now this is more fulfilling than anything I perceive could come to me to make me happy. Once you actually have practiced understanding that this moment is more important than anything you think you want, now you are abundance, not money. once you're abundance, it's impossible for it to not come. You're just going to start feeling safe to everybody. They're going to want to hire you. You're going to get bizarre offers. They'll just say, can you help me through something? Can you create this thing? You'll get in alignment with your creative gifts more than your fix-it gifts to make money. You'll be in this higher thing. You'll be worth more. Better jobs will start asking you. You'll start to actually feel heavy when $1 million offers are coming in, because you're like, even that I don't want. And then it just, every time I say no to something, even if it's a huge thing, the bigger thing comes up. It's like, life's like, how about this? How about this? And then the only question I ask is, does this expand me or contract me?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Right? If it expands me, then I say yes, and I can feel that within 2 seconds. If I get to a pros and cons list, I'm